Do you want to start a business, get out of the office, achieve happiness and success while crushing life? This is Boss to Boss, the place to be for that extra motivation to get up and follow your dreams while learning from the ones who have already done it. And now for your host, Miro Wieslow.
Welcome to Boss to Boss. Today's guest is a 16-year-old entrepreneur, author, keynote speaker, and social media influencer. He's a self-made millionaire and co-founder of Maddix Publishing and has published 9 books already. He has been named the top 20 most motivational people on the planet. I don't even have to say your name, but for those that don't know, Caleb Maddix, what are you going to do when you're 20, man? We're running out of things.
I know, right, man? I got a long life ahead. I got a lot of things I'm still trying to do. So honestly, what I'm going to be doing at 20, same thing I'm doing now, I'll just be doing it at a bigger scale. So my life is already what I'm doing, inspiring people, helping people have an 180-degree transformation. That's what I'm about, bro.
Okay, 180-degree transformation. I don't think anyone has heard of that yet, but maybe recently. But this is, if you're listening on Boss to Boss Live, it's you're getting a little sneak peek. But yeah. It's not live right now. But for those following and want to see more of Caleb and follow his work along with this interview, be sure to check out at Caleb Maddix, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or even on Snapchat. We got Caleb Maddix 13. And so we got CalebMaddix. I know it's not the traditional way, but now people will know that and they will know it even more. So 180 movements.
Yes, sir.
Tell us a little more about that.
So you are getting exclusive. You said sneak peek because we're filming this interview, and I know it's not releasing for about a month. And I actually haven't launched what I'm talking about right now, but it's the main focus coming up, or one of the main focuses. Got a lot on the table, but this is the thing that I'm definitely going to be eating first. This is what I have the most appetite for on my plate right now, and that's the 180 movement. Yeah, look, you can see it.
I see it.
The 180 movement. So basically the concept is this. For me, my life, to give a little of a backstory, literally what I do, because people ask me all the time, what do you do? My answer is I impact people. Like if you look at every company I own coachandspeak.com, which is previously known as Maddix Publishing. We're kind of transitioning over. Literally it helps people write books and coach and speak on stages so that they can help people have an 180-degree transformation. You look at what I do on social media, all the content I put out. I'm not putting out funny videos. There may be some humor in there, but every piece of content I put out is focused on helping somebody have an 180-degree transformation. You look at literally any company I own, anything I do, any connection I make, every single thought that I have goes into impacting people. But I don't just want to do it how most people do it. And this is the concept of 180 is like, I don't just want to inspire someone. I don't want someone to smile because of one of my videos. I know that's awesome and, it's cool. I hope, I make millions of people smile. But what I'd rather do is help thousands of people have transformations. And that's the content that I'm putting out. That's why I do these interviews. That's why everything I do is to help people not only have, hear a quote they like and repost on Facebook, but I want people to have that 180-degree shift. And the thing is, you see, there's a few people in this world. There's really 3 people. There's some people who have 0-degree shifts, meaning they stay stagnant their entire life. And that's the majority of the population. And there's some people who have good intentions and they have 360-degree shifts. So they change their life up a little bit and they're here. And then they flip back into their old ways. Oh, I need to get healthy. And they get healthy on New Year's and then flip right back. What I want is for someone not to have a 360-degree transformation, not to live their life having 0 transformation, but to have an 180-degree shift and stay there and never shift back. And that's my mindfulness of everything I do. And let me start off with this because I'm not just here to promote my thing at all. That's not literally what I'm saying is I want to impact people. Where a lot of people go wrong though is they don't have that mindset. Their mindset is focused on something other. Their motives from the wrong place. They're focused on making money, having cars, hooking up with women, or getting that guy to like them, or whatever it is. And they're so on exterior things that really have no substance that they immediately lose motivation. They lose motivation because they have the wrong motives. That's the whole reason. When your focus is on other people and your focus is on impacting people and on, I don't want to make $1 million. I want to make $1 million so I can use that to impact people. I want to make $1 million so I can give my family freedom. When you shift your focus so much on you and you shift it more into other people and to things that actually matter, that's usually whenever the shift changes in your life and when you start to see real results. And number one, and that's the first thing, you start to see results. And number two, when you get results, you're actually fulfilled. Because there are people who their focus is making money. And they may go do it, but then they're empty. And I met those people. I met people who have $250 million in their bank account and are miserable. And I've also met people who have $1 million in the bank account and are extremely happy, or 12,000, but it usually has to do with the contribution that they're doing to the world, and usually their focus is on impacting people.
I know you're not just saying this, you're actually doing this. When I met you at Thrive a few months back, and you're not just, you're not sitting there talking about what you have, showing off flashy things. You're actually there. You're talking to everybody. You talk to me. You introduced me to Anthony Wynn. I'm going to give a shout out to. He's a talented cameraman and social media guy that works with you. And you're being so real. And you mentioned this before. It's not like you just talking about it now. You talk about Bill Gates, how he's giving back money all the time, and he's actually doing good with the money. And if each and every single one of us could just do a little bit more, that's going to make such a bigger impact.
And that's the thing. People, they look at me and they say, well, you're a millionaire by 16, or about to be 17 here coming up. When this interview releases, I'll be 17. So here we go. First ever interview, me saying I'm 17. But like they see me and they're like, 17-year-old millionaire, right? Like, you must be so money obsessed. Money isn't everything. And then my answer is always like, money literally is not everything for me. Like, it's actually basically nothing. Like for me, I care so little about money because I've had money come in the bank account. You know what it is? It's a number. I've gotten cash. You know what it is? It's a piece of paper. The money is nothing for me. It's the thing behind the money. People say, well, you're a millionaire. Aren't you focused on money? No, I'm a millionaire because I wasn't focused on money. I was so focused on my mission. And I made my mission so big that the money had to lag behind. Remember, money follows contribution usually. You rarely see people who have created movements and didn't do well for themselves. You rarely see even celebrities, right? They had all these followers. They usually have money. Why? Because when you contribute in some way, usually the money follows. And that's where most people get it wrong. They're focused on the thing. They're focused on the thing that follows the mission rather than their mission. You got to be focused on the mission, and that's where the breakthrough happens. I was just watching a video with Anthony yesterday, and we can go on this all day because this is like
for sure.
That is allowing people to know, like, listen, it's impact over income. But I was watching a video the other day, and it was my first ever episode of The Journey, which The Journey is a vlog I do on YouTube where I vlog my day. And I did one. I started whenever I was 14, and I filmed the video of me at 14, and I said, I worked from like 5 a.m. to like 2 a.m. or something at like the age of 14. Like I just had so much passion. And I said in there, I was like, you know why I do it? I do it for the million. Meaning I do it because I want to make the $1 million. I literally said that. And I remember watching it being like, that doesn't sound like me at all. Like, why did I say that? And the next episode of The Journey was called Impact Over Income. And I literally said, guys, I had a realization. I'm no longer focused on the million. I'm focused on the people I can impact with that million. I'm focused on impacting people. And if I can impact 5 million people, it's guaranteed that I get the million. And like to see that shift from like that one vlog there, and that's the problem. Most people are the episode 1 of The Journey, Caleb Maddix, meaning they're focused on the million, the money, the result, the car, the things with no substance. Start focusing on the things that matter, and you're going to start to matter a lot more than you already do to this world.
That's perfectly said. I can't really top that, but it's funny how you bring it up. It's a circle and money. And can you explain to me, like, how did you lose that sense? Like, what age did it click? I guess right there at 14. Because initially, your story, it's crazy. You actually got money from your dad early on. For those that don't know that. So, like, where it all started for me, I was 7 years old, and I went over to a friend's house, right? And when I went over to this friend's house, we were sitting on the couch playing video games. And that's the only time I got to play video games as a kid. My dad didn't let me. When I go to friends' houses, we'd sit there and play video games. I was like, sleepovers, man. Sleepovers were my favorite.
Bro, sleepovers were the game, bro. You always ask your parents. Yes. So we did those sleepovers, and I was sleeping over, and it was the morning after, and we were playing video games. And my friend's mom walked up to him, tapped him on the shoulder. We're sitting on the couch, and we both looked back real fast because she tapped. And then she got all excited and handed him a $20 bill. And I'm like, oh, shoot. At 7 years old, man, like $20 is a lot of money. Yeah. Like that's like more than me having $1 million or whatever, like now, right? So I was like, dude, what did you do to get that $20? And he told me about this concept called chores. That anytime he would take out the trash, we all know this, right? Do the dishes, whatever. If he did it every single month, if he did his chores, he would get paid $20 at the end of the month. And I immediately felt screwed over by my dad. I was like, oh my goodness. I have been doing chores.
Breakthrough.
Yeah, for free though. My dad hasn't been, he's not even giving me $5 a month, let alone, like, he's not giving me anything. So first thing I did whenever I saw my dad, I said, Dad, you haven't been paying me to do chores. It's unfair. All my friends get paid to do chores. I want to get paid to do chores. He looked at me. He said no. Him saying no changed my life because he didn't just say no with, being rude or whatever. He had a better idea. He said, listen, Caleb, you're not going to get paid to do these things when you're older. You're not going to get paid to take out the trash unless you're a trash man. But I know that's, not your current goal. Unless you're going to be, work at a restaurant and do the dishes. You're not going to get paid for that. So why would I pay you to do that stuff now? He said, I'm going to pay you for what you are going to get paid for. Yeah. That's the books that you read, the things that you know, the lessons that you learn. So my dad started paying me $20 for every single business and success book that I would read and write a report on. And him doing that from that moment forward really did influence me and change my life in a lot of ways because I started, first ever book I read was The Success Principles, and then I read Think and Grow Rich, and then he started paying me to read these books, and I started picking up lessons that now I've translated into me being able to be a millionaire by the age of 16 years old. So I think that was a huge thing for me, and that's the first step really, is having an obsession to learn, a hunger to learn. I would say it's like a lion who hasn't eaten for 13 days. They're hungry. They see something, they're going to chase after it.
Oh yeah.
That's the type of hunger you need to learn. Most people, they're not hungry enough to learn. Therefore, they never know the things they need to know to get to where they want to get. And that's the thing. And so I developed this hunger to learn of even today I just met up with Nick Santonastasso. Is that right? I got it. He's insane. He's killing the game. Yeah, you know him.
He was at Thrive as well. Yeah.
He was at Thrive. That's all I was saying. So we just got done with hanging out.
That's awesome.
The entire time, literally, I'm just asking him questions. Why? Not because I'm trying to make conversation. I literally didn't think about it once. I just want to learn from the guy. I want to pick up. And when you are hungry to learn, you get fed results. When you're hungry, you get fed. And that was the first step that my dad did that really influenced me and got me to have the mindset that I have.
Yeah, you don't hear that often, especially being other countries are a little different, but being in America, it's about getting your video games and getting your sports in and all that. So I'm gonna put you on a hot seat right now.
Bring it.
Yeah, I hope you're ready, man. How do you feel about? Obviously, you're doing amazing. You're doing very well, and you're happy with where you're at, and it's pretty obvious. But how do you feel your childhood? You didn't have that traditional childhood.
Yeah.
Do you ever look back and are you like, oh man, I wish I got to do that instead I was doing this? Do you ever does that ever cross your mind?
Let me explain this to you, right? I get this question all the time. I love it. It is a curveball because not a lot of people have the guts to ask it. So I do appreciate that. I answer. I feel someone on a high-rise, 30 floors up, and they're looking at the entire city. They see it all. They're not going to be sitting down and looking at people walking and be like, oh man, they're all walking. I'm missing out on walking that. They're all on the ground. They live on the bottom. No, they're going to be like, man, what a privilege to be at this floor that I'm on, to be able to have this view. And that's how I view my childhood. People view it as I missed out on something. I didn't miss out on something. I just gained what most kids weren't able to gain. And I was happy. I was able to influence millions of people. I was able to travel the world and get to meet people that I idolized. I was able to make memories that kids could ever dream of. What most kids get to do in their entire 18 years, sometimes I would get to do in a month. I lived in an extraordinary childhood. So for me, a lot of people say, aren't you missing out on your childhood? I'm like, first of all, I really do believe I'm more fulfilled. Not just that I have more fun or whatever, because there are times that are difficult. There are for sure. But I'm more fulfilled, more happy, and more set up to live the life I want to live than the majority of kids are. So people ask me, do you ever what was it like sacrificing it? It wasn't a sacrifice. The sacrifice was some of the work I had to put in. There were some things I had to miss out on, but for me it wasn't a sacrifice. It was an ultimate gain of being able to live this life that I live. And I think the problem is most kids just aren't able to live the life I've lived. And if they did, I still get to hang out with my friends, go play basketball, whatever it is, yet I also get to do what it is that I love doing. So for me, that's my mindset. And then also I always ask adults this. I'm like, okay, so, you say that I miss out on my childhood. Okay, that's fair. What do you mean by that? And they're like, well, you don't get, like kids are just able to have fun. And then I go back to the first thing. Number one, I have fun. But number two, let me put it to you this way. Why are you supposed to only have fun in your childhood? Aren't you missing out on your adulthood if you're not having fun? Because you didn't do any thinking when you were younger. Now you pretty much hate your life because you're in a job that you hate, and you're missing out on your adulthood. So for me, not only did I not miss out on my childhood, but I gained my childhood, had an amazing childhood, but I'm also setting myself up for my adulthood. And that's my mindset on it, is childhood's not the only time that's supposed to be fun. It's a lifestyle of fun. And quite honestly, some people, they think that life constantly has to be enjoyment.
Yeah.
Like it's not about enjoyment for me. It's about fulfillment. It's not just about always having fun or going and like spray painting somebody's building or like, toilet papering a tree or like, like whatever most kids think is fun. For me, I really get to live a life of fulfillment and see that I'm impacting a lot of people. And that to me is the coolest thing of all.
That's amazing. That answer, you literally took what I had and just ripped it apart. That was awesome, man. Like that, I couldn't have pictured that said any better. Because who said that childhood has to be one way, right? Who defined childhood in a book that it has to be this way, right? Yeah. Like, what's wrong with going against the norm? What's wrong with that?
That's the thing. Like, people are comfortable with average, but average always look up to the above average. You know what I mean? Like, I always find it funny because like I'll be at family get-togethers, right? And like, my family's really supportive, but I like there have been family members that have been like, oh, like, are you sure you're doing it this way? Or you're thinking a little unrealistic or whatever. And then I get to family get-togethers, and then, like, they're all talking about the people who were unrealistic. Like, oh, did you see LeBron James dunk that he did? Oh, did you see? Or an Amazon package shows up. And they like they don't realize that Jeff Bezos had to be unrealistic for an Amazon package to show up. They're using a flipping iPhone that Steve Jobs created where he shifted an entire culture into using one device. It's like average people, they think everybody needs to be average, yet they idolize the above average. And I realized at a young age and decided, you know what? I'm going to be that above average person.
So tell me then, when did you have that moment of sort of an awakening? Because I obviously at 14 you had a big breakthrough, but for me, I feel like it happened so much later in my life. And maybe that's just the way I was raised, the things I was fed, the things I was led to believe. But it could definitely happen not until like end of grade school, maybe high school, that I sort of like woke up and realized like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It all starting to make sense. I feel like that almost happened to you much, much younger. Do you remember that moment?
Well, I think it did start whenever my dad started, having me read those personal growth and success books. Because I started reading these people who were really great. And I noticed like it's not like one success book or one personal growth or one business book told me one way and then the next one told me another way. It was like they all basically were saying the same thing. And I became really good at studying patterns, and I realized like, okay, there's a couple people I look up to. I love Derek Jeter. He was a baseball player, shortstop. I love Derek Jeter. I grew up like him, and I read his book and like read how he was as a child and how his friends hated him because all he ever wanted them to do was pitch to him. He could hit, like or throw him. Like that's all he wanted. So I remember like picking up on that pattern, and then I loved all sorts of people. I love Tony Robbins, and I like studied him, was how he lived, and I started picking up on patterns. And I think the power is in the patterns. The reason where the thing that a lot of people go wrong on is they're so oblivious to patterns. They're oblivious to the wrong patterns and to the right patterns. They keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, and then wonder why they keep ending up in the exact same place they were before. Well, you've got to realize there's a pattern. Once you break the pattern, you get your power. And at the same time, literally all you have to do is look at the patterns of successful people. Look at these, read books, watch videos, watch his interviews, like whatever, and pick up on the patterns. And you just literally put those patterns into your life, and it all will change for you. So that's where it was for me. Was I realized the powers in the patterns, and I just started realizing, wait, this person thinks this way. This person thinks unrealistically. This person works really hard. And I just found all the patterns, put it together, and that's how I gained my power.
And all this, everything is free. Like, we could literally tune into podcasts, tune into audiobooks, pick up books at the library. It is free. It's right in front of us.
The craziest excuse. There's two excuses I find crazy. Number one, I don't have time. I think that's crazy. You do have time. It's what you're doing with your time. You know what I mean? But the real crazy excuse is I don't know how. If you ever say that excuse, I don't know how, I'm going to go into Google Translator. I'm going to use the translator. Not Spanish, not Russian. I'm going to look at – it's going to be the truth translator. And what it's really going to be saying is I don't want enough. I don't want it enough. I don't want it enough. That's what it would translate to. Like, I don't know is literally the number. In 2018, 2019 coming up, in this day and age, that is the craziest thing. I don't know. Why didn't you become a chef? You always want to become a chef. Well, I didn't know how to cook. Did you ever YouTube it once? Did you ever watch cooking shows? Did you ever read a book on it? Well, I didn't know how to, run a Facebook ad. Did you ever Google it? Google should become your best friend. YouTube should become your best friend. Podcasts should become your best friend. Books, the library, Amazon.com, all that stuff, audiobook, that should become your best friend, because literally it's no longer you don't know. It's only you don't want it enough. For example, weight loss. Like, I've literally talked to people, I don't know how to lose weight. It's like, dude, like, there's literally 50,000 things out there. The real truth is you don't want it enough yet. If you want it enough, you'll find it. And the key is this. It's obsession. You have to have an obsession towards something. If you want success, you have to obsess. Straight up. Like, we were watching Will Smith today, me and Anthony, a win, my dog, 180. We were watching Will Smith, right? And he was talking, and he was like, I was just so obsessed. Like, I wanted to find out how to act. And he kept using the word obsessed. And you have Ed Milet. Ed Milet's over here using the word obsessed. Tony Robbins says hunger. All these people, you look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger was like, when I was at his house, he told me, he was like, my goals were the only thing I could think about. I annoyed people. So, like, if you realize all the successful people, they just had an obsession, like, that's the key. Once you have an obsession, everything else will fall into place. Not the information, but if you have the obsession to obtain the information and to put in the work, once you find the information, put in the application, that's the lead to your transformation.
So how would you tell somebody that, let's say a year and a half ago where I was at, I was sitting in I was an accountant, sitting in my cubicle, and now here I am, running a business, running a podcast, meeting amazing people like yourself. What would you tell those people that, like, I was there and I didn't know, like, what the hell it meant to, like, get up and do something different? What would you tell the ones that are, messaging me with excuses and things like, I don't have multiple streams of income yet. I don't have enough set aside. I caught the wave way too late. What would you tell them?
I think the key is, like all those things are really excuses that cover up the fact that you don't have your obsession. And the real question is, how do you find your obsession? Because if you have your obsession, you're going to obliterate your excuses. You're going to obliterate all that stuff. Here's the key to finding your obsession. If you currently don't have your obsession, are you ready for it? It's very simple. Make your obsession to find your obsession. That needs to be your current obsession. You need to try things, test things. Listen, I thought I was going to become the world's #1 magician. I thought I was going to become the shortstop of the New York Yankees. I thought I was going to own the largest health company in the world. I've tried so many things, and it finally clicked. Like, even lately, like, I'm even getting more clear with what my obsession is. Finding out it's 180, boom, blowing this up. Like you literally have to make your obsession finding your obsession. Like, constantly thinking, like, testing things. What do you light up about? What do you just trying things? Try, like, okay, I like this. Yeah, I like it. Keep doing it more. Because sometimes your obsession turns into an obsession. Sometimes it's not an initial, like, something that you're obsessed with. Sometimes it's just like, I like this. Do a little bit more. It's like a lot of sports. Kids, like, they're not immediately obsessed with, let's say, basketball, but they played when they were 6, and then they're like, I like this. And then 7, they started to find out, oh wait, like, I'm not the best, and they got better. And then, oh shoot, and then, like, it becomes a burning desire. It's like the book Think and Grow Rich. That's what it says. Like, you have to say your goal so much to where it becomes a burning desire because you're so physically attached to it. And that's the thing. You have to become your goal. Before you can achieve your goal, you have to become your goal.
Can you explain that?
Yeah, so you have to literally, it has to become a part of who you are. Like me and my goal to have people having a 180-degree transformation, I talk about it so much. I take actions toward it so much. That's now who I am. It's no longer, I'm Caleb Max. If I didn't accomplish my goal, no big deal. It's like my confidence is in my mission. Like, I am my mission. Literally, when I talk to people, like, literally all I can talk about is my mission. Like, become a part of that. I know it sounds crazy, but you'll realize the more you do it, it becomes a part of who you are. Like, that's why athletes have a hard time when they're done with their sport and then, like, doing more things in their sport or whatever. It's because they literally become, like, one with it. Like, it's literally like I'm a basketball player. That's who I am. So that's the thing. Become obsessed with finding your obsession.
And that's why they start coaching. That's why they start doing the TV, right? All that stuff. So what if you're trapped then in the office and you do that 9 to 5, you 2 hours commute, 2 hours back, you're burnt out, you come home, you watch TV, same thing all over again. How do you step out of that?
So a trap, number one, a lot of people are actually trapped. A trap to me is like literally you could not get out, like communism. Like some people are trapped, legit.
Yes.
If you live in America or a first world country or a country where you're really not trapped. You're trapping yourself. Like, you're not forced. Like, it's not like legally you have to do this job that you hate. Like, most people aren't trapped. So stop believing you're in a trap. Start to prepare to break out of it. Like, obviously, I'm not an advocate of just, I mean, it depends on the situation. If you're young, definitely. But, like, you know, if you're established and, like, whatever, like, it may be a transition process to get out of the trap. You might not just quit your $450,000 a year job right away, but at least be working towards it, right? And there are some people that are trapped. You know, like, they have families and, like literally, like, they, you know, like, if they quit right now, their family's going homeless. That's where, like, you realize it's not like it's taken 24/7. You have to use your free time that you have. And I think that's where a lot of people get, like, what I would say is unsuccessful people are not productive with their time. Average people, like, people have some success or whatever, are productive with their time. But successful people, people that we look up to, they're productive with their free time.
Exactly.
The free time that they have, they are so locked in. They use it. They utilize it. You know, they go from this to this. They have 5 minutes in between. They're returning emails. Even at Thrive. I really noticed this at Thrive. I was like, wow, you know, because we're sitting here in a room backstage, all the speakers. We got like Naveen Jain, who's worth $8 billion. He would not stop doing something. Like, even if like he'd be in a conversation, right? The moment the conversation ended, he's on his phone returning emails.
Yeah, he was walking in circles.
Like, literally watch him, like, he's maximizing every second. And when he maximizes every second, he's squeezing all the juice out. There you go. That's why people are like, well, your cup is so full. What's like, dude, every day I've just been like squeezing as much as possible. And most people, they just hold it and they're like, why is there no juice in my cup? How's that analogy for you, right? Like that's it though. Like, you have to squeeze your time. So a lot of you guys have time. It's like, maybe, you know, maybe you go to your job that you're trapped in, and maybe from the next, you know, this next 6 hours you have, instead of watching a show or doing something like that, you know, you're going to spend that time doing something productive and working towards getting out of it. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, go ahead.
Have you hit burnouts, like, at all yet? Or, you know, like, are you doing steps to avoid it? Because that's something that other people would say, that if you're going full out at it at all times.
Well, here's what I would say. Number one, if you burn in, you don't burn out. Meaning, if you have a burning desire inside your chest, like, it's an obsession. It's not a hobby. You know, like if you kind of play golf a little bit, you might get burnt out of golf, right? Like yeah, whatever. I'm not feeling to go today. But if, like, Tiger Woods, like, he can't stop thinking about it. It's his obsession. When you burn in, you rarely burn out. So I'm so obsessed inside that it's rarely like, oh, you know, whatever. Distractions are the number one reason people burn out. It's not that they burned out. It's just that they got distracted from their obsession. That's a huge part of it. Is like, you know, you didn't burn out. You just got around the wrong people. Or, you know, another thing, you know, maybe because I always feel like this. One of my mentors, his name is Dean Graziosi. He talks about this as like, you know, like, you have to view your life as like you're like almost like an iPhone type thing, right? Where like there's charge. Like, you know, if you're hanging around people that charge you, you're gonna have a full tank. If you're hanging around people that drain you, well, don't complain whenever you get down to zero and you don't feel any energy. It's like, how do I have energy? Well, just like think about actual energy. Like, think about like generators that literally create energy. They're moving. They're doing something, right? A lot of times whenever it goes dead, and then, you know, icicles start to get on it, and it's like, it just like freezes. That's whenever you start to burn out and say, oh, it's not moving anymore. When you stop moving, usually you stop wanting to move. When you stop moving, you stop getting momentum. So I think if you burn in, you burn out. You know, you won't burn out usually. If you don't let distractions get to you, you continue to gain momentum. Momentum keeps going. Momentum. There has to be something that halts your momentum. You know what I mean? Like, if a train's going, it's going to keep going. There's a wall there, boom, it might halt it a little bit. And that's why you need to gain so much momentum to where even if there is a wall in your life, you still obliterate right through it.
And it doesn't mean you can't get it fixed, right?
Oh, 100%.
You can't get it fixed and then keep going.
That's what I do want to also say. Sometimes charging, like listen, I don't burn out, but at the same time, I also take time for myself. Like, I want people to realize that. Like, I'm just giving devil's advocate because everyone, like, I'm not against time off. I'm just against people who don't earn their time off. You know what I mean? It's like, well, for 6 months, you know, now you're taking a month vacation, but for 6 months you really didn't do anything. You know, you kind of been in like a mental vacation the entire time, even though you're kind of where you weren't like all in. If you're all in, you're able to step out. But if you're just kind of like partying, that's where I have against, like, dude, you know, you got to earn that time off. And when you know you've been going, listen, you deserve it. I just went and spent a week in Washington, D.C. and New York. You know, I'm going to go spend a week on Christmas in Illinois with my family. Every day I take time to charge myself and make sure I'm not only working. You know, if I'm in launch mode, sometimes I'm constantly working, but sometimes I make sure I go for a rollerblade. I go play a sport, hang with my dad, right? It's important to take time off. Just make sure you earn it.
That's awesome. When you burn in, you rarely burn out. Man, You have to put that on your wall. I love that.
On the wall. All right.
I don't know how often you use that, but I think you got like that. Wow, I love that.
I think I said it like 3 years ago on a live stream, and I haven't. I just came back to me. So
I think we're onto something here, man. Everybody, it's an exclusive on Boss to Boss. So I want everybody tuning in, be sure to check out Caleb Maddix, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. That's Caleb Maddix. You start tapping his name, it's going to pop up. You'll see it. And now on to our listeners' favorite segment of the show.
Welcome to the round with no name, because they're all taken.
All right, so really quick, here are the rules, and we'll get at it. 5 seconds to initiate an answer for each question. Otherwise, my producer, Steve, he's lurking around here somewhere. He comes out, and we don't want to deal with him. So let's just
all right.
let's just go. All right, here we go. Without further ado, your favorite book?
Ooh, Think and Grow Rich. I love Think and Grow Rich.
Your greatest mentor outside of your dad?
Oh, that was clutch. Dang, there's so many of them. Shoot. Russell Brunson's one of them. I love Russell, Uncle Russell.
Great guy. Is entrepreneurism a fad?
I mean, I went back. One is also Sean Maroney. Sean Maroney is one of my personal mentors, so you guys got to check him out. The Obesity Revolution is sick. Anyway, go ahead.
Is entrepreneurism a fad?
No.
If you're stranded on an island, what is the one item you want with you?
Can I say a boat? I'm just being practical because I am trying to be straight.
Actually, I think you're the first ever person to say that.
Really?
Wow.
That seems like a basic, on a boat. Like I just want a boat. If I'm straight on an island, I want a boat. That's it.
I think I'm never answering that question. Never asking that question again. I mean, you just ruined it for everybody.
I love it.
How do you drink your coffee?
Ooh, espresso straight.
You know what that means, right? You know what
What?
that means? I drink it straight black too. They say a HuffPost research study came out that people that drink black coffee show psychotic tendencies.
Whoa, shoot. There you go. Sometimes I'll put like a little milk in there, like to not be so psychotic. But usually I just like to get it over because I don't like the taste. But sometimes I need to get amped. So yeah.
No, I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs I interview, a lot of people say they drink it black. So there's a correlation there. You know, something about being out there and.
Yeah, because remember, like everything, like anybody who, if you look at the worst people in the world, like the people that did big criminal stuff, they have a lot of the same tendencies as successful people.
Yep.
It was just put into something different. Like you'll notice that. I've studied like, people in like actually very smart, just had the wrong motives, and that's what happened. Wrong motives screw you up.
What is the one item you consume every day, whether it's something you eat, drink, or you wear it on you, but you need it every single day because it makes you you?
The 180 t-shirt. 180. I mean, honestly, when I'm on my every day, just like, filming content, stuff like that. So I'd say that's probably the most, honestly.
What can you repeat that?
I said like my phone. Like a lot of times, I don't know, like, I do take time off my phone, but for the most part, on a daily basis, I'm filming and doing that type of stuff. So
Okay.
I feel like I can change the world with my phone. That's all I need.
How do you feel about white socks or just any kind of socks and sandals?
Oh, dude. I don't vibe personally. My cousin Travis, he wears socks and sandals all the time, and I always try to get him not to. So I don't like it. I don't vibe.
So you would be offended right now if I was.
I wouldn't be offended.
It's a professional and upstairs, party downstairs.
Oh,
so.
I like interviews. Like if you're doing interviews, I vibe. Like sometimes I'm not wearing pants whenever I do interviews. So I am right now. You can see the second.
Yeah, you've seen that. I'm sure you've seen that commercial, right? When a guy is sitting there and gets up.
Yeah, 100%.
And if you had an unlimited amount of money right now to start up any business you want, can't be 180 or coachandspeak.com, what would it be?
Whoa. I feel like if there was one, I would already be doing it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know 100%. If I had to say,
any industry, anything.
There's so many like thoughts I have, but there's nothing I'm obsessed with. I wouldn't start anything I'm not obsessed with. And if I'm obsessed with it, I'm doing it. So I don't know.
Okay. Well,
I'd buy a sports team. I'd buy a sports team for fun.
I like that one. That's actually a first too. And the most burning, hardest question. Can you think of a new name for my fellow over here? We're trying to give him a new name.
Ooh, for the puppy?
Yeah.
Dog like thing?
Yeah, man. We're gonna be doing votes, and we're gonna do a vote of the top names everybody gives out, the interviewees, and then we're gonna vote on which one wins.
I like your podcast, bro. You have really good energy. This is actually one of the most fun podcasts I've ever been on. Seriously, like I usually am like tired at the end. Like, dude, you have me energized. Great question. I don't know, like
appreciate.
If I because your podcast is boss to boss, I would just do like the boss or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like this, like on brand.
Okay.
That's all I can think of now.
Okay.
I like culture too. Culture. 180.
Okay. Culture 180 or the boss. All right, Caleb. Everybody. Caleb's still there. I'm still here. Nothing. Steve didn't come out from the woods, so we survived.
We survived the test. We got it. We went through it.
Yes, we did. Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to share? I know you're building up 180 and coachandspeak.com. You want to share anything about that or anything else to the listeners?
No, honestly, obviously you can check me out anywhere on social media. Caleb Maddix, CalebMaddix. You can join the 180 movement, Team 180. But honestly, what I would say, keep subscribing to this guy because I know he's going to have a lot of big guests on there. He's fun to listen to. It's real good stuff. And so when I say I appreciate everyone's time and attention, seriously, like your time and your attention is pretty much your most valuable asset. So if you can spend that on us, and especially me, at the age of 17 when you're watching this, like that's always an honor. And I hope you guys enjoyed it and hope to connect soon as well.
Everybody, that's at Caleb Maddix, CalebMaddix. I can't do it as quick as you. It's been a pleasure having you on. I can't wait to talk to you next time to see where you're at when you're 18.
That's right. Keep being a boss. 180.
That is all for this episode of Boss to Boss. Your next step is to visit bosstoboss.com, where you will find proven techniques followed by professionals to help you make that next step. Again, that is boss2boss.com. And remember, the time is now.